The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is the first of our 4 live interviews this week. Today we got professional boxing businessman slash boxing insider, my main man, 50 grand, Rick Glaser. He'll be here in just a moment. But it is your boy BT. I've had a very, very long day thus far. I was at Stacey McKinley's gym out there in Pompano. I did a whole 1-hour interview with Stacey McKinley. So he touched on a lot of things that in regards to Teofimo Lopez and boxing history as well that I think people are going to like out there. So be on the lookout for that, as well as our other live interviews and all other content coming out here on True School Sports. It's great to be here, guys. Maybe for the 4 of you that are here, I appreciate every last one of you. Make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff, because it's going to be a hell of a show. It's always a great time when Rick Glaser stops on by. He's a regular here on True School Sports. I just sent him the invite to get into the live, so he'll be here very soon. But while you guys are here, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe. If you got any questions for Rick, get your questions in down below and all that good stuff. Programming reminders, just letting y'all know if you don't know already. We got the interview Tuesday with Joshua Franco, Wednesday with the Mike J. Rosenfield, Thursday with Teofimo Lopez Sr. Then we'll be live for Jaime Munguia versus Trano Johnson on Friday. Saturday we got the Usyk fight with Chisora. We'll be live for that, and then also Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. So that's a very busy week here on True School Sports. It's just very, very busy. There's no other way. There's no other way I could put it other than that. It's just gonna be a really busy week, But my main man, Carnage, what's up, champ? He says, "What's up? How you doing, bro? What's up?" Oh, here he is, the man himself, the man of the hour. We got my main man, Rick Glaser.
Oh, what's up?
What's up, Rick?
How are you?
I'm well, man. Hold on one second. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
I can't complain.
Glad you have me back tonight. I had nothing better to do to talk to you and your enthusiastic boxing enthusiast. So here I am.
Absolutely. I wanted to just get into it. A lot of you've been making some moves since the last time I talked to you live on YouTube. You're working with Frank Warren now, so I wanted to ask you, how did the whole Frank Warren partnership come up? How did that come together?
He called me one day, and he called me up and said, "Hey, Rick, I know you're a top man, and I'd like to do something. I'd like to work together with you internationally, and I got 3 in-house matchmakers, and I want you to be my international representative, and it's working out fine." The Brits are a little different than Americans. We call people back immediately or void their call. They don't do either. They called back at their leisure. Okay? Yeah. So they're not avoiding you, but nor do they call you right back. "Hey, how you doing, Rick? You called." "Yeah, that was yesterday." That's how they are. They can't help themselves. It's a culture over there. It's not like it's because I've dealt with a lot of the Brits over the years, and that's how they do things. It doesn't matter if they're in boxing or what they're in. That's how they operate. That's how they are. I mean, there's nothing you can say. It's not a bad thing. It's nothing. It's not insulting, but that's how they do operate. Hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week. And, it's like it's having 2 businesses. I got my own glazerboxing.com, and now I'm working with Frank and his sons. And, it is what it is. It'll be a good ride. Frank's a Hall of Famer. He's in the Boxing Hall of Fame. And, he's been over the last 40 years. He's been the biggest promoter in the UK, and he's one of the major players in the back. He's the promoter of Tyson Fury, the co-promoter with Arum, and he knows what he's doing. He does 2 shows a month on BT Sports. One of the shows per month normally heads over ESPN Plus over here, and it's going to be a good relationship. It's going to be fruitful for all parties involved.
Absolutely. What's it been like working with Frank so far? Like, what's he like to deal with?
Well, he's a gentleman. He's a no nonsense kind of guy. He knows what he wants. He knows what he doesn't want. His son George is the same way. They're in-house matchmakers. Steve Furness. There's 3 matchmakers in-house. Steve is the main one, and they all know what they want, what they don't want, and that part's good. But the part that you call them and then they call you back 20. Hey, Rick, you called yesterday. Well, that was yesterday. Today's a new day. I'm on new business today. Now I got to refresh my memory and stuff. I got to go to one of my yellow legal pads, and I got to look over what they really wanted. What I wanted to talk to them about, because I mean it's a long way from the pillar. It's a long, like I always say, it's a long way from the lip to the ring. It's a long way from the pillar to the post with these guys. But it's not just these guys. That's the way Brits are. That's the way they all are. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they've ever made one any differently. Not in boxing, anyways. So where they are. And you know what? All due respect. We're opposite. We either call right back or we avoid you. They're not doing either. Like I said, they just call back at their leisure. You know what I'm saying?
They aren't exactly the most urgent people in the world. I've had my fair share of experience with the Brits.
No, they're not. They're definitely not urgent. There's no question about that. I mean, they're at their own speed. What can I tell you?
Yeah. Are there like any fighters within the Queensberry promotion stable that you're like looking forward to putting together matches for?
They've got right now through the end of this year. They've had some in-house matches already made up. We're already looking for January when he starts his new year off in January. So because the shows this month, the 2 shows in November and the 2 shows in December are already basically made up. They were made up before I got there, basically.
Yeah. We got an interesting comment from your friend L-Dog. He said, no disrespect, Rick, but if you want to keep your job, keep Dubois as far away from Hrgovic as possible.
I don't think anybody's worried about Dubois and Hrgovic right now, but L-Dog.
L-Dog, he's the president of the Philip Hrgovic fan club, and I'm the vice president.
Yeah, I know, but the other problem is there's no other members. That's the problem.
We're getting people converted slowly but surely.
Very slowly.
Very slowly. It's a long and tedious process, but it's happening.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah. I wanted to get your opinion on the Lomachenko Lopez talk, because that's the big thing in boxing right now. I know you were very vocal on Facebook. You were saying that this fight's going to be like Joe Calzaghe versus Jeff Lacey. So like when you,
I was wrong. I was wrong, and so was a lot of other people. The guy rose to the occasion. I mean, it was hid the fact that the guy had a hurt shoulder. There was no question about it. There was a problem because he had surgery on Monday. So the following Monday. So a day and a half later. So there was obviously a problem. He felt like there was a problem, but who knew that? You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you something. That's a weird fight, because that's the kind of fight that Lomachenko can win the rematch. He learned more about Teofimo than Teofimo learned about him, because I don't think we saw the best. I don't think we saw the best Loma that night, and I think he did have a problem. But we'll see what happens. I'm not a Teofimo believer yet. That's one night. He looked good. He's a strong guy. He's tenacious. He can punch. But the punches were bouncing off Loma, and Loma's should be a 30-pounder. So I think against B fighters, he can punch, but against the A's, I know he got Conley out of there, but I don't know. I got to see. I'm not really that sold yet. Too early for me.
Fair enough. I know. There's a lot of people that aren't quite sold yet on Teofimo, but I thought he boxed very well. I thought he did a great job of cutting off the angles of Lomachenko.
No, he did. But that might have been one of those fights that he rose the occasion for one night in his life. That might have been his Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson moment.
Oh man. We'll see, right? We have to see how the career progresses.
we got to see where he goes from here.
Yeah. What do you think is like what do you think is gonna happen from here? Like, where does he go from here? Do you think the Lomachenko rematch is the next, or what happens with him?
I didn't hear he went to Disney World, so I don't know. I'm kidding. Who do I think he's going to fight? I don't know. It's too early for that. He probably won't. You know, him having a good time right now, he probably won't fight till like March, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't see him fighting before then right now. You know, and
Yeah.
I can't see Loma fighting if he had shoulder surgery, which he did. He won't be fighting for 6 months. So, when I say 6 months, I mean 6 months till he gets into camp, let alone 10 weeks later after that.
Yeah, I'm hoping for Lomachenko that he goes down to 130, back down to 130, because like at 135 he's been good, but he hasn't quite been the Matrix at 135.
Well, they got longer arms, they got they're bigger girth, bigger necks, bigger everything, and it's showing up that he's not knocking people dead at 35 like he did 26 and 30.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, he has to kind of give up a lot of distance, and when he's going in, he has to take some punishment just to impose himself.
Yeah, especially against a guy like Luke Campbell, who's like 5'10", 5'10 and a half.
Yeah, real rangy.
So, and good on his feet too. You got to remember Luke Campbell's good on his feet, left-handed, and he gave Lomachenko all he could handle. I mean, he dominated. Look, except for the knockdown, he dominated Linares. So. I can't go by that, really. I mean, listen, anybody can knock somebody down one time and they can get back up again,
Yeah, absolutely. You saw that the ratings were really great for this fight. I think it was almost around 3 million, like 2.9.
Well, actually, that's a fallacy. It was much better than that. That did not count the ESPN Plus streaming. It was on streaming, and also it was on ESPN Deportes. The total was over 4.6 million viewers total.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The 2.9 was only the live feed on regular ESPN. It did not include ESPN Deportes. It did not include the Plus app. They were on all three platforms.
That's amazing.
So that was very impressive. Oh yeah, very impressive. To be honest.
That's a huge win for boxing, and that's definitely a huge win for your boy, the Bob father, Bob Arum.
Oh yeah. Well, let me tell you something. When you take the commercials on ESPN, the commercials on the Deportation, the commercials on the Plus, and they're paying $6 a month for the app. And probably a lot of people signed up on the app to get the fight. Because remember something. Even though the people could get it for free at home, a lot of people are not home to watch it. They're at a let's say a retirement party, a wedding. There's so many things that they could be at. They could be traveling. They could be in their car. So they'll buy. I mean, it was definitely the fight of the year to watch, except of course the beatdown by the Tyson Fury put on Deontay Wilder. That was only the fight of the year because it was such a fantastic beatdown.
Yeah. Tyson Fury really did a lot of boxing fans a huge favor by beating up Deontay Wilder.
Especially those LDBCers, Haymanites, the Agenda crew.
The Wilder
they still ain't got over it. The last time I looked, they were making more excuses up on social media on why he lost.
Yeah,
there's so many excuses. There's so many excuses why he lost, but there's only one reason why he won. Think about that. And he accomplished that one reason. He was the better fighter.
That's right. They blamed it on everything. They blamed it on white supremacy. They blamed it on the
Trump.
gloves.
Trump. They blamed it on Trump.
They blamed it on Trump. That's right.
Wilder was worried about that Trump was going to win. It was going to win the re-election. His head wasn't in the fight.
That's right. Yeah, man. I was going to ask you too about the whole Devin Haney situation. Do you believe that Devin Haney is the real world champion, or do you believe that like Teofimo is the undisputed champion? Because that's like a big topic of discussion right now.
Well, to me, the franchise belt supersedes the regular belt. because it was franchised for a reason, because he was so good, and he had two of the other belts, So I would say that would be, yeah, I would say that Tifimo is the real champ, and I would call Haney the regular champ.
Yeah, that's like the WBC's version of what the WBA does.
Yeah, exactly. The super champion and the secondary, the regular champ. He's a regular champ. You know what I mean? Listen, that doesn't take away from Devin Haney. Okay, his father just wouldn't let him fight Teofimo. You know what I'm saying? So wouldn't let him fight Loma. I'm sorry, wouldn't let him fight Loma. That's all.
Yeah. Why do you keep saying that? Because like when I called you today, you said the same thing. Like that.
Because I know the real story behind the thing. It wasn't Loma's idea. It wasn't Top Rank's idea. It was somebody that works with somebody else in boxing, came to Bill Haney with the idea, and they went to Mauricio, and this guy went to Top Rank, and that's what they did. And Aram said, "This is great. We don't have to deal with him. We can go right to a Teofimo fight." Because you remember something, if he would have dealt with that with Haney, it could have been the purse bids, and Eddie could have won the purse bid and taken it to the zone. Then nobody would have saw it. You understand what I'm saying? Then nobody would have saw it, and Aaron wouldn't be able to put it on ESPN and get all those people to watch. And then, so it was a lose for him. So he loved it. So it worked out great for everybody involved. There's no loser there.
Yeah.
What's somebody saying?
He said, "We heard that Loma ducked."
No, it's not true at all. Stop, please.
Yeah, there's been a very
why would he duck Haney, who's not a puncher, and go to Teofimo? Hello.
That's what I was saying.
Thank you. Case closed.
Yeah, because that's been a popular narrative here on YouTube. Like a lot of these channels have been saying, "Oh, he's ducking Devin Haney." They don't want to fight Devin Haney.
Those are the LDBCers. Let me repeat.
Right.
Those are the Haymanites and the Agenda crew.
That's right.
And they're all voting for Biden. Think about that.
That's right, and that's bad enough itself. And it doesn't even matter what part of the political fence you stand on. It just voting for Biden in general is horrible.
Correct. Thank you.
Absolutely. If that fight ever does happen, who do you fear between Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez?
Teofimo's got more man strength than he does, and he's a better puncher, and he'll keep Haney's punches off of him with power punches and stuff, and keep Haney away, and Haney won't come in like he does on other fighters. Teofimo's punching power and his tenacity will force Haney to go backwards, and when he does, he won't be able to do anything. Go fighting backwards, except running in the eyes of the judges.
Yeah. My man, MMA the Champ says, yes, Biden 2020.
Hey, man. Well, ask him what state he lives in.
What state do you live in, MMA Champ? I think he's like I might be wrong, but I think I don't even think he's in America. I think he might be in like Spain or something. I could be wrong, though.
Good. America's really winning if he's in Spain.
L-Dog says he wants Bill Haney to be the president in 2020. He's saying Bill Haney 2020.
Good luck to him too.
Yeah, shout out to the OG Bill Haney. Speaking of 135, you have Ryan Garcia, who's finally stepping up. He's finally stopped doing those Instagram videos with the pads and whatnot. He's fighting Luke Campbell. What do you think about that matchup?
Luke Campbell is a gold medalist in the Olympics. He's a tall, left-handed, very mobile, nimble fighter, and he will give Ryan Haney a very good fight. I think Ryan will win, but it's a no-joke fight. It's a real fight. It's a big step up from where Ryan Garcia has been fighting. He's been fighting C pluses. Now he's going to go to an A minus. That's a big jump there. They forgot about the B section there. Yeah. The B level guys. So we'll see. But I like Haney. I like Garcia to win the fight. Mostly because of the fact that he's very quick and he's got power. It's going to be one of those things for Campbell, like welcome to America. he's coming to America, and well, let's see how well he travels. Goes on the road, and if he can win on the road, I don't see it. I don't think he's got enough firepower.
Yeah, that's always the big thing for the British fighters coming to America. Like a big percentage of them they don't know how to handle the bright lights.
No,
and all
well,
the
the two that have was Kawasaki and Froch, and coincidentally, they were in the same weight class in back-to-back years. Kawasaki retired and Froch stepped in, but you got those two guys. But Hatton came over and bit the bullet, except the first time he was over, he really, basically, he fought a couple patsies. I fought Louis Collazo, not a patsy, but then he got in with the real fighters, the Mayweathers and the Pacquiaos, and he got left for dead twice, literally. You know what I mean? They had to get the gurney out and pick him up, take him to the hospital, and you know what I mean, like debris, like roadkill.
Yeah.
So. You know what I mean? So some of them have come over here and done well, and some of them have come over here and bit the bullet.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
And many of them have come here and been folded up like a cheap suit.
Right. Several have been, yes.
Yeah.
No question about it.
My man SSB28 says, USA. That's right. Good old USA.
USA.
Oh, you know what, Rick? You had an interesting post. You had an interesting post you had on Facebook. You were talking about how the USA used to be back in the day. Like you were talking about what makes you tick.
That was on Facebook, right? Yes.
Yeah, Facebook.
That was on Facebook. Yeah. I had how it was back. Way back when. I mean, it was a different. I'm 62. It was a different world back in the late 60s and in the whole 70s and stuff. Even in the early 80s, and things started to deteriorate. You used to go to funerals and people wore real suits and real leather shoes. Now they wear jeans and construction boots or sneakers. I mean, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
And a windbreaker. I mean, come on. Well, I mean, it's the guy's last rites. Pay your respects the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I in the dead of the winter, I've gone to wakes and wore a velour sweatsuit because it's cold out. But that's the reason, because it's cold out. If it wasn't so cold, you know what I mean? I mean, I live in Buffalo. I mean, it gets 10 below and snow 89 inches. So, I cut me some slack there. But as a general rule, I mean, come on. People don't hold doors open for the elderly. They don't hold doors open for the women anymore. I mean, America's gotten to be a joke. I mean, no ethics, no decorum, no class, no style. It went out the window. I remember going to restaurants and they served, duck under glass and escargot, and they had a lounge singer. It started at 10 o'clock at night. They called them crooners, and everything was wonderful. Now, there's no lounge singer. They don't have no duck under glass. They have no escargot. Escargot they don't even allow in the country anymore. Snails. They don't even allow in the country. Babaluch, as the Italians call it. French call it escargot. I mean, they don't even allow in the country. I mean, everything is screwed up today. I remember going to lunch to go to a high-class joint. The tax and the tip was $4. That was a high-class joint. You can't go a place for a hot dog and a Pepsi for $4 these days at a hot dog stand.
Yeah.
It's I know there's such thing as inflation. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, if you a high class meal back down for $4 is $50 today, and inflation wasn't 13 times the amount. Put it that way to you.
Yeah, and back in those days, I'm sure women were actually women. Like now, the women are like they're trying to be men.
No comment.
Yeah, man. But by the way, MMA The Champ is from Spain. You asked where he's from. I was right. He was from Spain.
Stay there.
That's right.
Stay there.
My man Carlos says, "What's good, True School?" And Rick, keep up the good work. That's right, man. Got Rick Glaser here. One of the most influential people in boxing behind the scenes. You're too honest for you're the most honest person in boxing, Rick. Some people will say that I've gotten comments where they accuse you of being a liar. They'll say, "Oh, this guy is a known sociopath. This guy Rick Glaser, he's no good." And
every time you talk to somebody in the business, what do they tell you? I'm the most straight up honest guy in the business, right or wrong?
Yeah. Anybody that I talk to, like there was recently I called Jesse Robinson.
Sure.
Yeah. He was asking me what I had coming up, like with the channel and stuff, and I told him that you were coming on the channel, and he's like, and then he was like, oh, Rick. I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, you know Rick. He's like, of course I know Rick. Everybody know Rick. Rick, a good guy. He's
Well,
like,
there you go.
Said that he's been knowing you since you were a young man, and then I asked him what you were like as a young man, and he's like, the same way he is now, just making his matches, doing his thing.
Listen, I'm a very bold, upfront guy. I'm proud of the way I am. I wouldn't change a thing. I am what I am because I want to be what I am. That's all there is to it. I mean, and people don't say I'm a known liar and don't want to talk about it. I'm bullshit and stuff. They're the ones that don't know. They're bullshit. They don't know. You know, they got shit between their ears. What's this guy? L-Dog.
Rick got mad.
That's the price for being honest. Yeah, it's true. Listen, if I would have said that Deontay Wilder was better than Rocky, would have beat Rocky Marciano and knocked him out one round, I'd be the greatest thing since sliced bread. True.
That's right.
Right? But because I said he was a fraud, he didn't fight nobody. You know, they avoided Dillian White for years. They did this. They cherry picked Wilder. They ran it. That they did was cherry picking gone wrong.
You know,
I mean, Wilder cherry picked up Fury. The Wilder's crew, a team cherry picked Fury in their minds, and it was cherry picking gone wrong.
Yeah, they had Wilder in a witness protection program, unfortunately.
Yes, now he's back in it. He's hiding now.
You can't. Nobody can get a hold of him. I interviewed his coach recently, and I actually got along pretty good with his coach. And his coach was blowing smoke. He was like, "Oh yeah, Deontay saw your interview. I'm gonna get you the interview one day." So then Wilder was here apparently recently, and I tried phoning him up, and I couldn't get a hold of him. He went into witness protection. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, he's hiding from the truth. Some people
right.
just can't handle the truth. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I could always handle the truth. I'm only 5'8" and I'm 40 pounds overweight. There's the truth.
That's it.
You know.
Well, you're an old school guy. Like you're old enough to remember Mark Breland as an amateur and when he was fighting, and now you've seen him as a coach. So like, what do you think it says that Wilder, went ahead and fired this guy, and then replaced him with Malik Scott?
Okay. Well, I like Malik. Okay. And I think Malik's capable. So don't get me wrong. But let's deal with the first half of this, right? Okay, here goes. Okay. The man basically saved his life. Mark Breland saved his life by pulling the plug on the fight when he's getting the shit beat out of him. When the referee wasn't smart enough to stop it, he jumped in and stopped it. And then you fire the man that saves your life. Do you need any other explanation than that?
No.
Then he said that he was paid off, and there was snakes in his camp, and there's only snakes that are around. Or besides the white collar faction of Team Wilder, the white collar faction of Team Wilder was in this guy's head, was in Wilder's head. Okay, he got the shit beat out of him in the first fight. It was 12 rounds. He won the 2 rounds. He scored a knockdown. He lost 10 other rounds. What was going to change in the second round? Luck is for suckers. He's going to hit him with a lucky punch, knock him out. You saw how that worked. He hit him early in the fight, and Fury smiled at him and walked forward, and he didn't know what to do. He was like, "Oh shit!" Okay?
He couldn't believe what was happening.
He couldn't believe it. Like, oh my god, because Fury's a real fighter. That's what happens with real fighters, And he fought back, and he boxed and boxed, and he boxed his ears in, and he punched him around, hit him with that body shot, dropped him in with a headshot, and finally the referee. Breland says the referee ain't smart enough to stop it. I'm smart enough to stop this son of a bitch, and he stopped it. And then he gets fired. Oh boy! Oh my god! All I know is one thing. That whole thing lacked common sense on Wilder's part, which is par for the course for Deontay Wilder.
Absolutely. My man L-Dog, he commented again saying that Rick must be Philip Hrgovic's biggest fan now that he is a matchmaker for Frank Warren. Why else did he shoot down Hrgovic versus my Hrgovic versus Dubois question?
His name, as far as I know, his name was never in the equation. What is Hrgovic going to bring to the table in England when Joe Joyce is from England and it's a huge fight there? What's Hrgovic? Hrgovic sounds like something you threw up.
Damn.
I mean, I mean, realistic, a Herkovac. Come on now. Like somebody in England's heard of Herkovac except a guy like me. Come on, the average fan that goes to a fight or watches on TV in the UK, they've never heard of Herkovac. And it's just, I'm not saying Herkovac's not a good fighter, but what does he bring to the table that would be interesting for Dubois? He doesn't hold a title. He doesn't bring any additional revenues. Joe Joyce and Dubois is huge over there. Huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the second biggest fight. It's the second biggest fight you can make in England right now, behind Fury and Joshua. It's the second biggest fight.
You think it's that big?
Oh yeah, definitely is. It would sell out. It would sell out 35,000 seat arena if they were allowing people, for sure, 100%. That was what the original intent was. It's big over there. It's completely big over there.
Yeah. SSB28 has a great question. He says, "Is Rick buying the Tank Davis Leo Santa Cruz fight this weekend?"
Absolutely not.
It's not going down like that.
No, I just bought a PBC fight, the doubleheader of the Charlos. That was enough for a long time.
Yeah, you weren't satisfied.
No, it was good. It was a good show. No complaint. I said on they had a good show last weekend too. The other night, Saturday night, they had a good show. But come on, you got to stop putting all your best fights on pay-per-view. Bob Arum's not doing it. Then why is Heyman doing it? Come on, And by the way, 77,000 homes for Charlo, the Charlo doubleheader. 77,000 homes only.
That is brutal. That's horrible. And then like the thing is, Heyman's trying to turn the Charlos into these stars, and like I'm not gonna lie to you, like I didn't like the Charlos at first, but I've grown a liking to them. But unfortunately, they're just being mismanaged the wrong way.
You mean mispromoted?
Mispromoted, yeah.
When you win fights, you're being well managed. When nobody knows you and you can't draw people, you're being mispromoted.
Yeah, like my friend, my guy Demetrius Andrade.
Oh boy,
your favorite fighter.
Listen, somebody said to me one day, "Rick, he's a real nice guy." I said, "I don't want to find out." I don't want to get. I mean, please. Every time he fights, they gotta clear the stench out of the building. It's terrible to watch. Seriously, very, very, very ugly fighter.
It's not for everybody. Pancho Villa says that Bob Arum was convicted of bribing the judges in federal court. What's your
never ever convicted of that. That's completely bullshit. He was named that he wasn't bribing boxing judges. They said he bribed the IBF for ratings for his fighters back in the mid 90s. But they never proved it. Number one, he was never indicted. Number two, and it had nothing to do with judges. So that's a lie. So Pancho Villa, you're wrong. But I'm not surprised you're wrong. How are you?
MMA the GOAT says, ask Rick, who does he think is the best prospect signed to the Queensberry promotion? So yeah, like who do you think is the best prospect signed?
Obviously Dubois. That kid, the bantamweight kid, is going to be a junior featherweight any day now. Dennis McKenna, he's like 6-0 already. He's really good.
He's good. I saw him fight.
He's really good. Yeah, he's the kind of a guy he could carry an organization. Eventually carry an organization, like be a hat or somebody like that. So those are the two best guys I think they have.
Okay. Rob87 says Hrgovic is a nobody in America, just like Alexander Usyk.
Yeah, he's right, and he's a nobody in England. He's huge. He's huge in Romania or Bulgaria and those countries, but Croatia, Bulgaria, same shit. Well, it's just Romania, Bulgaria, Croatia, Kosovo, it's the same. You know what I mean? It's all great, but good. Keep it that way.
Grivas says, L-Dog, you can be Rick's assistant if you play your cards right. So, Rick, are you hiring any assistants? Can L-Dog be your assistant?
Can't afford to pay myself, let alone pay somebody else. I eat a lot.
Yeah, you put a lot of money into that gut.
Yep. Here's a funny story. Long time ago, way before I met my wife, obviously, I went on a date with a girl, and she said, Rick, You got a great personality. You have a lot of charisma. You're charming. You're a nice looking guy, but you got to get rid of that. She points right at my stomach.
Okay.
And I looked up at her and I says, honey, that's the only thing I got that's paid for.
Damn. What'd you say to that?
I said, that's the only thing I got that's paid for.
That's
So
good.
what are you going to do? What are you going to say? So it's
laugh?
part of me. Little stomach is part of me.
Did she laugh?
I mean? Oh, yeah. She thought it was very funny, actually.
Okay.
It didn't get me anywhere, but she thought I was funny.
Yeah. You can't bat 1,000. You can't get them all, Rick. You can't slay them all.
No. I wish I could. But listen, my batting average is better than most Major League Baseball players. The batting average, trust me.
Is it 400 plus?
Shit, yeah, of course.
MMA The Goat says he wants to know. Do you know anything about Fury fighting Ajit Caballero on December 5th?
He's one of the names. Simon Keane is another name. Carlos Tacon. They haven't settled on it yet. They're going to settle on it this week.
Simon Keane's that Canadian dude, right?
Yeah, he's got one loss.
Yeah, I heard about it.
The one loss he revenged. He's not a bad fighter, but he's not in the Fury League.
I mean, nobody is at this point.
Right. He's in the Canadian League. Is what he is.
Yeah. And he's got to get out of the Canadian League like Castillo Clayton did this weekend. Did you see that?
I thought he got hosed, but he didn't get robbed. I thought he won, 7-5 in rounds, 115, 113. It was a great fight. It was an excellent fight. People said it was boring. I didn't know it was boring about it. I thought it was a very good fight. What's his name was charging forward. The other guy was boxing beautifully, hitting him with jabs and some nice power shots and stuff. I thought it was an excellent fight. It was highly skilled. I thought it was a good fight.
Yeah, it surprised me because I wasn't really before that fight. I wasn't really too familiar with Castillo Clayton until about a couple of hours before the fight when I watched some tape on him. I watched like the DeMarcus Coley fight and like a couple of random rounds from some fights he had.
Remember something. Those are now. See, when he was fighting them, I'm not saying that Corley wasn't an A-level fighter at one time because obviously he was, but he's a C-level fighter now.
No, I know.
And the back nine, all those guys. So you didn't know how he was going to perform against top level competition, and he shined. I thought he won the fight.
Didn't. But when I watched him fight, I watched him just to familiarize myself with his style because I never seen him fight. I didn't know anything about him, so I watched a couple of his fights, and I was like, man, I think he's gonna beat Lipinets because I thought the jab and just the way he fought, his style was gonna mesh really well with Lipinets, and I picked him. I was like, yeah, Castillo Clay. I'm going with the upset. Everybody's like, no, why are you saying that? I'm like, because the jab.
He looked good. He looked very good. He started out a little too slow for my liking, and it took him a while to come around. But when he came around, he really put himself right into the fight quickly. So it was good. It was a good fight.
I think he might be a future Terrence Crawford opponent because if you look at the WBO rankings, the top three, I think it's like Porter, Virgil Ortiz, and then I forgot who the third one was, but Mikey Garcia. It's Porter, Virgil Ortiz, Mikey Garcia, and then it's him. And I don't think anybody in the top three is gonna fight him. So he might have became an option for a Terrence Crawford fight later on down the line if they can't get him any of the big fights.
See what happens. I'm not speaking for Top Rank, but I think between having Tiafimo now and Shakur Stevenson and some of these other guys that they got, I don't even think they need Crawford anymore. If Crawford, if they release Crawford, I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you think he's going to go to PBC?
Yeah, maybe him or Eddie. Maybe Eddie will pay him too much money. He won't go to PBC. Who knows?
Yeah, if he goes to Eddie, he's definitely not getting no fight because Eddie Hearn can't get anything done these days.
I don't know. That's on Eddie. All I know is that when he first came to America, a whole bunch of people were telling him to talk to me and hire me. He should be talking to me, and he goes and hires Eric Botcher, and he got what he got. You know, I think it speaks for itself. You got a guy that's not a businessman. You got a guy that's strictly a matchmaker. He doesn't have any promotional mentality. He can't sign quality fighters up. I mean, he can make a match, but there's more to being a matchmaker than making a match. So
I'm glad you said that, and I wanted you to expound upon that. What else is there to being a matchmaker aside from making a match?
Signing fighters, developing fighters from scratch, taking fighters that were good fighters, that were real good, like world champions that lost, and then rebuilding them and putting them in contention again. Balancing a budget. You know, just because you got to pay a guy $50,000 for a fight because that's what he wants, you don't just lay down, throw your legs up in the air, and say, "Come grease me up." I mean, you know, you got to work the guy and do a diligent job. You know, a financially diligent job. I mean, you can't just because they say 50,000. Okay, yeah, well, okay, we'll do that fight. No. It's too much. Let's talk about this. You know, they don't do it. They just jump to what's in front of them. You know, and that's not the way you do business.
Yeah, like basically you're saying like they're very like knee jerk with their reactions. They don't like kind of just like take things and they don't look at things long term.
No. Oh, we can do this fight. Okay, let's do it. Then they can move on to something else and one of their other fights that they need to make. And you know what? You got to work a guy. You can't just lay down like a dog. I mean, especially if it's just 40,000 a budget and they want 50. If there's 50,000 a budget and you act quickly and it's short notice, okay, I get that. But those $10,000 bills add up at that level. And then at the next level, the $100,000 level, the 25,000, the 20 and 25,000 add up. All of a sudden, you're 100,000, 150,000 on one show that Eddie's got, and all of a sudden, at the end of the year, if you're doing 30 shows, it's $4.5 million. Hello.
That money runs out quick.
The money runs up quick too.
Yeah.
So it depends which way you look at it.
No, absolutely. My man Jairo Galvez says, what class do you consider Golden Boy as a promotion? A Rolls Royce or a Kia?
Oh, he's stealing my line now. Okay, that's my line. I was asked one day on Twitter about the promoters, and I said to them, Top Rank's a Rolls Royce, Eddie Hearn's a Ferrari, and Al Haven's a Kia. So where do I consider? I don't consider him a Rolls Royce. I don't consider him a Kia. He's more like he's probably like a middle. He'd be like an E-class Mercedes.
Okay, that's not bad.
No.
Okay.
He's like an E-class Mercedes with all-wheel drive.
My man, what was it? Fight News. Neofimo Lopez. He says, "Yo, is Crawford leaving Top Rank?"
Oh, I don't know if he is or not. I have no idea. I'm just saying if they released them, I wouldn't be surprised. In reality, I really wouldn't be surprised because they don't really need them. They got so many up and coming stars that in so many fights, and so they got 16 world champions right now. And the other night they had 17 until Teofimo won. Now he's a unified champ. They got Jose Ramirez fighting Taylor, Josh Taylor. I mean, they got so many fights that they can put together. I mean, they got
Inoue, the monster. They got the monster Inoue.
They got a million. They got so many guys. Listen, what's his name there? Sean Gibbons got the Casemiro. Yes. He wants to fight Inoue. Like, I love Sean, but you know what? I mean, Aram's in control here, guys. He's got the guy everybody wants to fight. I mean, but that's like you saying, let me knock me out, but pay me. So who knows?
Yeah.
What are you looking at there? What are you looking at?
I was checking the time.
Keep talking. What are you
I was checking the time.
You're going slow, right?
We're just getting started.
I know. I hope so.
You
need to catch your rhythm a little quicker next time. Come on now.
Yeah, maybe. Kell Brook and Terrence Crawford. What do you think about that fight? You give Kell Brook any chance?
Oh well, I think he's going to be depreciated strength-wise at 147 and endurance-wise, and be able to use his legs, and that'll spell doom against Crawford. That'll spell absolutely doom. So,
Yeah.
he's got to be able to hit them with that jab, hit them with the hooks, the right hands, and get in and out and around. And if he has to make 47, he won't have the legs to do it. I just don't see it. And, and I also don't think, remember, he fought Mark LeDuc in his comeback fight. That's not exactly, he might be left-handed, but he's not Terrence Crawford.
Yeah. Who is?
No, that's the point. Where do you get? It's easier to get sparring partners to fight like Crawford than it is to get sparring. I'm sorry, it's easier to get sparring partners to fight like Cal Brook than it is to get sparring partners to fight like Crawford. Don't ever forget that Crawford's working with a big advantage there.
Yeah, especially if you're doing your sparring in Spain and the UK. I think he's in Spain.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. He did an interview, Kell Brook, and he seemed to be like really up for this fight because Eddie Hearn didn't even get this fight on Sky Sports in the UK, and he feels very like disrespected by it. So who knows? Maybe it gives him some extra motivation to turn in a good performance.
Fighters get disrespected all the time, or they feel disrespected all the time. Sometimes it's like anything else. Sometimes it's warranted. Sometimes it's not. So, I can't tell you how he feels. He told us how he feels, and maybe he should feel that way. Eddie was his lifetime promoter, and Eddie and him had a falling out. So, Eddie didn't want to make this fight. Eddie wanted to keep him away from this and try to make the Khan fight because that was in Eddie's best interest. But that didn't work out too well, as we can see.
No.
Now he goes on to Crawford.
Grievous asked the question. He wants to know, what do you think about the southpaw welterweight prospect Paddy Donovan?
Really good. Good fighter. I like him. I saw him on one of Frank Warren's shows. I think he's involved with MTK and Frank Warren both. I think they manage him, and I think Frank maybe promotes him. I'm not sure. I believe so. I can't. I don't know. Frank sent me a roster of his fighters, and it was very long.
Yeah.
Okay. It was very long, so I can't remember if he was on the list or not. Certain fighters stand out. The Tyson Fury stand out. The Dubois stand out. Certain people stand out. You know what I'm saying? Because they're impactful in boxing right now.
One guy that stands out in the UK, well, to the UK fans, I want to see what you think about him. And he's in the Queensberry promotion stable. Is Anthony Yard? What do you think about Anthony Yard?
He can punch. He can't. He's not a good smooth boxer. He doesn't have a lot of endurance, and I think he can be a world champ if he hits somebody over the head. But if he's looking to outbox him, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah,
he's in a real tough fight coming up here on November 28th, a co-feature. He's fighting
Lyndon Arthur.
Well, what's his name?
Lyndon Arthur.
Lyndon Arthur. Yeah, Lyndon Arthur. Yeah, that's a tough fight. He's a real good fighter himself. He's undefeated. He's a good up and coming fighter. So that's a very good fight.
Yeah, good solid domestic level fight.
No, well, it's a domestic fight, but it's not a domestic level fight. It's definitely a world-class fight.
You think so?
They're legitimate contenders. Oh yeah. Okay. They happen to be domestic because they're from the same, the UK. But in reality, they're both world-class fighters, definitely.
Absolutely. What do you think about Edgar Berlanga? He's been setting the world on fire on all his undercards. 15.
Can I swear? Fucking unbelievable.
Yes, he is fucking unbelievable. I agree.
Unbelievable. Now, I know the last two opponents very well, and everybody thought that the one kid, Eric Moon, would give him 3-4 rounds, and it'll be a good fight till he gets stopped. Walked across the ring, over. Bellows had never been stopped in an official fight. There was one. It was a no contest. He was stopped, but throwing that out, he officially was never stopped, and he just walked across the ring and terrorized him. His eyes looked like saucers. I mean, they were like this thing. It was like this. It was like a monster. Here, I'll tell you a story about that fight. Ready? Okay.
Go ahead.
So I have a friend of mine that's a big boxing fan, but he doesn't know what he's watching. Okay. He likes boxing. Well, yeah, but he doesn't know anything. He doesn't even profess to know anything. Okay.
Okay. At least he's honest.
But yeah, he likes football, hockey, but he likes to watch boxing, but he doesn't know what he's watching. He just knows somebody's winning and losing, but he doesn't know anything about the fighters. So he calls me up. He sees the weigh-in on the TV. He calls me up and he goes, Rick, he says, they got weight classes in boxing, right? He goes, yeah. Did you see the size difference between those two guys? This is a newbie. This is a guy sitting at home, jerking off, watching this. And, oh my God. Well, I was looking at the same thing. And I said to myself, one guy looks like a 54-pounder, and one guy looks like a 75-pounder. The night of the fight, Bellows looked like a 54-pounder still. The other guy looked like a cruiserweight. He must have weighed 195 pounds the night of the fight.
Yeah, he was a behemoth. He was a gargoyle. He was huge.
Huge. I mean, huge. And not only did he hit him with, I'll tell you something what nobody realizes. And Top Ranks Matchmaker, astute matchmaker, or the tops in the business, Brad Goodman, we were talking about it after the fight. If you look at it again, Belenga hit him with that first jab. He knocked him 3 feet backwards, maybe 4 feet backwards with the jab. If he wouldn't have knocked him backwards with the jab, that right hand would have come in, he would have been out with the second punch. But he pushed him out. He hit him so hard with the jab, he knocked him out of punching range. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if he would have short-sold him with the jab, or just flipped it, okay, and screened the right hand coming, he would have knocked out right there, the way it turned out. Okay, I mean, it was this guy. You know, listen, I said this after the fight. We know he's huge for the weight class. We know he's strong for the weight class. We know he can punch. We don't even know if the guy can fight or can take it. We never seen anything in 15 fights. Nobody's hit him on the chin. Nobody's backed him up. Nobody's done anything with the guy. So we don't even know if the guy can fight.
You can watch.
We don't know if the guy's got a chin. We don't know if the guy's got a heart. We don't know if the guy's got any resolve, any plan B. Plan A, walk across the ring and knock you down into obliviation. Come on.
It's funny because he's got 15 fights, and you can watch his whole career in about an hour, about 45 minutes. You can watch his whole career.
Why that long? The average fight goes a minute and a half. You take a minute and a half. So, think about it.
20, 30 minutes.
Yeah. Listen. The way the introduction, the pre-fight introduction, take longer than his fights. Think about that.
It's insanity. You've been around boxing around a long time, and you've seen a lot of prospects come and go. Have you seen anything like this before? I know there was Tyson and stuff, but
listen, Tyson came along before I was in the business. I was a fan then. Okay, but even Tyson was, you remember heavyweights are more prone to take a guy out in the first round than super middleweights. Mm-hmm. Just like, okay, in other words, the bigger they are, the harder they can punch. Okay, so yeah, so you're more prone to see knockouts than heavyweight fights. But as a super middleweight, walking across the ring and just terrorizing people, I mean, Bellows' eyes were this big. You just like this. I mean, this is a guy that had 26 pro fights before that night. What was he? 25, 20 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw. I mean, come on. This guy was a real fighter. This guy was in the Mayweather stable till just recently. His last fight was for Mayweather even. I mean, come on. I mean, this guy was terrible.
He's making these veteran fighters look like nobodies. Like when he fought Eric Moon, I thought Eric Moon was gonna be the first guy to get him past the first round, because I remember I was in Atlanta last year and I saw Eric Moon fight Mike Guy, who's also another durable guy at the weight class. So I'm like, okay, he ain't gonna win, but he's gonna be durable enough to get out the first round. And then he just went and he just beat the brakes off Eric Moon. That was a fight that really impressed me with him.
I mean, let me say this to you about Belenga, the best way I can put it. Okay, I don't know they're gonna get. They have a problem right now because he's not ready for 10 rounders because he's never gone more than 1 round. So they don't even know if he can go 8 rounds, let alone 10. They don't even know if he can go 6 rounds. They don't know anything yet. I mean, what do we know? He's big, strong, and can punch a hole in a wall and knock 15 people straight out the first round, deader than a doornail. I mean, that's like, it reminds me of the story. They need 3 ambulance before the fight starts. Okay, 1 to carry his victim out, Okay, one to have the rest of the night and one to carry the next victim out if somebody else gets knocked out that night in another fight. I mean, the state requires 2 ambulances. I think you may need 3. So, I mean, It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, he's knocking people literally dead. His manager, Keith Conley.
Yeah.
Keith Conley is a dear friend of mine. We have a couple fighters and we're involved together. And, Keith loves the kid. He thinks the kid's a great kid. He's got a great personality. I mean, he says to me, Rick, there's 0 negativity associated with this young man. Can't beat that, can you?
No, you can't. And like with him, he's on. In my opinion, the Puerto Rican boxing has been looking for that guy to finally fill the shoes of Miguel Cotto, and he's going the way he's going. He's gonna more than fill them shoes.
Yeah, he's probably have size 13s on him. I don't know, because that son of a bitch is one big guy, especially the night of the fight. Scary big for the weight class. I mean, the size over Bellows, his back, his height, his legs. I mean, just look like 4 or 5 different weight classes. Like I said, one guy looked like 54, one guy looked like a cruiserweight.
Yeah, well, I mean, when he finally gets the experience he needs and he steps up, I'd love to see him fight David Benavidez.
That'll be a great fight. The problem is, for a long, you're looking at 3 years down the road because David Benavidez got so much more experience, and this guy here, we don't even know. Like I said, we don't even know if he can get into round 6 as far as being winded and inexperienced, and who knows? We just don't know. We know so little about this guy. It's really weird to say after 15 pro fights, isn't it?
We know so much and so little at the same time.
Yeah, we know he can punch. He's huge for the weight class. He's super strong. Okay, we don't know if he's got resolve. We don't know if he's got any heart. We don't know if he can box. We don't know if he's got any endurance. We don't know too much.
Yeah, man, it's insane. One SSS asked the question, Rick, is there really a need of a
200%? 100%. I don't know if the IBF, the WBO, the rest of them, WBA will take suit, but there is definitely. You can't have guys that can't make 200 fighting guys that weigh 271 pounds like Fury. Okay, there's too much of a big spread. Just like there was a big spread between light heavyweight and cruiser being 25 pounds, they're going to put 24 pounds in this weight class. Okay, so I agree there should be definitely another weight class. Do I like more weight classes? Do I think it adds confusion to the public? Yes. But for safety and competitive reasons, yes, we do need that weight class. No question about it.
Absolutely. Undisputed Bomba Squad. I like that name. Undisputed Bomba Squad says, hey, Rick, did Andre Ward duck Beterbiev in the Olympics or pros? They are both 1 year apart. Did Ward have anything left to give? Why is it that Beterbiev got a late start?
Okay, I'll answer all those questions. Andre Ward and him were in 2 different weight classes. Beterbiev, I believe, is in 178. I believe Andre Ward was in 165. That was the one thing. So they didn't avoid each other. Number 2 is the Russians back then. Okay, the Russians, the Ukrainians, all those countries, those Eastern European countries, their amateurs were really pros. They were getting paid, so they turned pro much later. Okay, for that reason. So they were fed by the country. They were given housing and stuff. They were given like they were professionals. So that's why it took him so long to turn pro, because he had obligations to his country, which you got to respect his loyalty for that.
Absolutely. It's always a noble thing to fight for your country.
Mm-hmm.
Anything, really.
Yep.
We got my man, who is this? Pancho Villa with the crazy narrative again. He's saying that Lomachenko surrendered his WBC world title and he ducked Devin Haney.
Okay, either he's deaf, he missed what I said earlier, or he's dumb. Tell me what Pancho Villa is.
I don't know, man.
Pancho
Villa is the same guy. He told me that the guy Estrada, Juan Francisco Estrada, beat Cholatito in their first fight. So take that for what it's worth.
Whatever.
Yeah. What did you watch the DAZN card this weekend? The one with the flyweights?
Of course I did. I love super flies.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think I saw you post about it on Facebook because normally you do these posts after the fights.
Yeah, but sometimes the show ends so late, and I'm tired, and I go to bed. It depends. If it's not like a popular run fight, in other words, if it's on like mainstream TV or something, but it's on the zone, it's not exactly mainstream. So I'll sometimes I do it in the morning. Sometimes it just slips my mind. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, yeah.
you got to remember, I'm not a reporter.
I know.
Okay, we'll
I'm
keep
just
that in
so
mind.
accustomed to seeing the posts. I like to read them, the good posts.
Thank you. But I watched the show. It was an excellent show.
Yeah.
Very good show. That the fight with Estrada and Kudras, Kadras, it was really good. That was a really good fight. Kadras got worn down, but in reality, it was a great fight. No question about it.
I'm surprised that Quadras fought as well as he did because, like, if you look at his last 5 fights going into that fight, he had lost to McWilliams Arroyo a couple of years ago, and then he experimented at 118 and didn't look so.
Remember one thing: when you fight a guy who you want to fight, who's a great fighter, is probably going to be in the Hall of Fame, you rise to that occasion in training, mentally, physically. I can do this. You bring in a strength and conditioning coach that you pay for that you wouldn't pay for a regular fight. So I would, he rose to that occasion, but he only rose to a certain point, and he couldn't rise any further. But he did give 1,000%. Listen, I'd watch Rodgers again, whether he won or lost. I'd watch him again. I thought it was very thrilling, to be honest with you, the fight.
Yeah, well, Quadras has always been an exciting fighter to watch, and he's as you would say, he's on the back nine of his career, but
yes,
he delivered
and he found the clubhouse in the 11th round the other night.
Yeah, Estrada had all the answers for him. He showed once again that he could do it all.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's impressive. What's impressive is Chocolito with all those beautiful punches that he throws, and so many variety of punches with perfect balance. And he if he has the patience, he'll make a great professional boxing trainer. No question about it. No question. And a classy guy too. He's not the kind of guy. He would not do it unless he felt he was going to give 100% of himself. He's not that kind of guy, as far as training fighters. So, got a lot of respect.
I think a great question to ask you would be being someone who's been around the business for a while and seen so many fighters come and go. When you look at the skills of a Chocolatito, like where do you put him? Like how great is he in your eyes?
Great. It's not how many titles he won. It's not how many weight classes. It's his style. The people get excited to hear his name. I mean, people see. It's a funny thing. People read Roman Gonzalez on Twitter or Facebook. Who the fuck is that? Everybody knows Chocolatito. Nobody Roman Gonzalez. I mean, come on now. The fuck is that? Chocolatito. Yeah. Oh, you said Chocolatito. I didn't know that was his real name.
Yeah, like when I title sometimes when I do videos about him and I put just Roman Gonzalez in the title, they're like, "What? Who the fuck is Roman Gonzalez?" Exactly. BT, you got to put Chocolatito in the title. Don't put Roman Gonzalez. Put Chocolatito Gonzalez.
You just put Chocolatito.
Yeah.
Don't forget one thing. If a true icon, okay, anybody who's called by one name is a true icon. Don't ever forget that. Right? Isn't that true?
No, it is. Like in boxing, you can just say Ali or Tyson, and you know who they're talking about.
Right. Prince. 50 Cent. People just one. Boom. It doesn't matter what sport, whether they're rappers, whether they're athletes. They're known by one name. They're Kobe. Boom. You know what I mean? Magic.
BT.
Boom. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
BT.
Absolutely. So like, what did you think about his fight with Israel Gonzalez? Chocolatito.
He lived to fight another day. That's what he is. That's his water level. He lived to fight another day. That's how he makes a living.
Yeah. Who do you favor in the rematch if they do the big fight next year with Chocolatito and Gallo Estrada? Who you favor?
Slightly Estrada because he's got a little more left and a little more pep to his step. but you will know Chocolatito. I mean, Estrada will know Chocolatito's in the fight every step of the way. It's going to be a sensational fight, huge fight. I mean, really, people will really be interested in that fight. That, it's a funny thing. They weigh 115 pounders, dollar for dollar. That might be Eddie Hearn's most successful fight.
It might be.
Dollar for dollar.
Dollar for dollar. Value for money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of those fights next year. Like wherever it's at, I'm gonna be there. Like that's gonna be an absolute barn burner.
No question about it. 115 pounds. Each one of my legs weigh 115.
Yeah, but those guys at 115, they've been so great for boxing over the last 4 or 5 years. They're all fighting each other while all these guys in the highway classes.
They were what Carbajal and Chiquita Gonzalez was before you were born, bro. They were 108 pounders that were killing each other they got $1 million a piece. I mean, come on. They fought 3 times. I mean, sensational.
Yeah, it's
that didn't get any better than that. Listen, size doesn't matter for entertainment value as long as they're both fighters at the same size. Okay, it's the quality of the fighters, how many punches they throw, the excitement, the charisma, and all that stuff. And the volume of punches, the power, all those things count. It doesn't matter what weight class they're in, as long as it's comparable.
Yeah, and those guys never disappoint. Like they just delivered so many classic fights over the last 4 to 5 years.
Listen, some people ask me about Gaddy Ward all the time. They were C fighters, C+ fighters. They weren't great fighters. They were B- fighters at best. They weren't great fighters. They just they had the perfect style for each other, and they made 3 sensational fights that everybody's still remembering.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the way life works. They weren't great fighters. They made great fights.
They were just in the right place at the right time.
Correct. Believe it or not, this is horrible to say, but America needed those 2. Boxing fans needed those 2 at that time. That's how big those fights were as far as popularity.
9/11?
No, not doing 9/11 because we didn't have any fights that the public was enamored with because it was part of the stage where Oscar was going downhill a little bit. Cotto wasn't there yet. It was like it was caught in the middle. Bernard Hopkins was never a big attraction. You know what I mean? Tito already lost in 2001 to got stopped by Hopkins. So it was that time period where we didn't really have anything going that was great, except for those 2 guys in 3 fights. So it was sensational, to say the least.
Yeah. Jay Bowen says, "Is Teofimo Lopez the next boxing superstar?" That's kind of a crazy question. I think. What do you think, Rick? Is Teofimo Lopez the next boxing superstar?
I think he's already there. I mean, the public knows him. 4.6 million people watched him. Then that's 4.6 million homes. So how many more people watched him? I mean, he's going to be a star. He's got the personality for it. He's got the style for it. He's got the punching power. He's got ability. He's got charisma. He's got a sick charisma in reality. Okay. He's got one of those animalistic personalities, that animalistic charisma like Mike Tyson had.
And the best part about it all is he's a product of the South Florida boxing scene. So that makes sense.
He says he's from Brooklyn. He's never mentioned South Florida in one interview.
It. I got a bone to pick with him whenever I see him. But he grew up in Pembroke Pines and learned how to box at the Davy Powell. So he's a South Florida kid, whether he wants to admit it or not.
Oh, I'd rather admit I'm from South Florida than I would from fucking New York City in Brooklyn. That's all I got to know. Come on now.
Yeah, man. SSB wants to know, what are your thoughts on the whole Canelo versus Golden Boy and the zone situation?
Everybody's wrong. Hello?
Yeah. Everyone's wrong.
Your thing's frozen up. You're coming through real blurry there, bro. You all right?
You hear me? I'm here. You can't see
real
me?
Blurry. Oh, my God almighty. What happened to you? Come on.
I'm gonna refresh my page. I'll come back.
No, I'm good. You're the only one. I can see myself beautifully. I look real good here.
No, I'm gonna refresh my page. I'll be back. Give me like 2 seconds.
Okay. Oh boy, 2 seconds is up.
All right, how about now?
Geez, you look scary looking before you.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
it was horrible.
What were we talking about? Where did we leave off?
Canelo, the zone situation. You were saying everybody's wrong.
Yeah, everybody's wrong. When you say that that Billy Joe Saunders and McCallum Smith are not premium opponents, you're wrong. 2 undefeated world champions that are popular fighters, they're premium opponents. Number one. Number two is the zone bit off more than they can chew. They had buyer's remorse in reality. I blame them too. And I blame Oscar for not having his own fighter under control. Even though Oscar's done a good job promoting him, he doesn't have his own fighter under control. So I think there's a combination of everybody's wrong to a certain extent there.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. And they got to get all that under control because Canelo is one of the big names in boxing. You know, we need Canelo to be fighting and being involved.
Your voice is coming through all chopped up.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus, man, I don't know what's going on. All right, hold on.
Now it's all right. It's all right now.
Okay. Can you see me? Am I like?
You're blurry. Okay? You're very blurry. But we're all better off that it's blurry.
Okay. you got jokes, Rick. Grivas asked a question. No, he says he's making a statement. Ward came to the UK and took out the Irish brawler Shay Neary. I remember he's talking about Mickey Ward.
Yeah, he did. It was a good fight. It was for like some bullshit WBU title or some kind of phony horseshit. But it was a good fight. It was a good fight.
Johnny Berber wants to know, ask the gentleman Rick Glaser, who does he think would have beaten Floyd Mayweather at any time in boxing history? I guess he's asking any fighters who name the fighter who you think could beat Floyd.
Jose Napoles, Tommy Hearn, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran as a lightweight, probably not as a welter, but as a lightweight, he definitely. The night Duran beat Leonard, he would have beaten Mayweather. Okay, that night, yes. Jose Napoles, Donald Curry in his prime and his best would have beaten Mayweather. There's probably 10 or 12 welterweights that would have beat him. Yeah. Sugar Ray Robinson as a welterweight would have beat him too.
I think so. Yeah, I think the majority of those guys I would say would beat him. But some people
your voice is all screwed up again.
Oh God! Hold on.
Maybe you need to invest in some new equipment. Hi, Lal.
All right. I'm back. Two of me. Rick, can you see me?
Yeah, your voice is still screwed up.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
I don't know. You only got a few minutes more of my time anyway, so.
Okay. Well, yeah. If my thing, can you hear me though? Am I good right now?
You're all right. But now you're blurry facially again.
All right.
If you're going to be blurry facially, you might as well just wear the mask.
I might as well, right? I just wear my coronavirus mask, the Chinese virus mask.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I guess I'm having technical difficulties, so I might just need to wrap it up, Rick.
Yeah, there's something wrong. It's like real choppy and barky and stuff like that.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like my internet right now. I don't know what's going on with the internet. If it's something.
I sound perfect, don't I?
You sound fantastic. You're not the issue here. I'm the issue.
And I look good too.
And I'm sure you've heard this before. Rick, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, a couple of times, right? More than once.
Listen, we're gonna tell a funny story before I buzz off tonight. Ready?
Okay, go ahead.
So years ago, I'm at Don King's office, and Don King tells me, "Hey, Rick, I'm going to be a little while. Stacy's going to go to lunch. You want to go with him?" I said, "Sure." We go up to the counter. We're at Wendy's. We go up to the counter, and Stacy turned me, "Oh, thanks for buying me lunch, Rick." I said, "He pulled my money out." Oh yeah. We're talking about old school shit. That was it. Oh, Rick, thanks. This is really nice of you to buy me dinner.
Stacy McKinley is conning the hell out of you.
I'll talk to you. Okay, you're a gentleman. Anytime, and we got to cut it short. It's coming in and out. Your face is coming in and out. It's not becoming of you tonight. Okay,
yeah, I don't know. It's not coming together.
I'll talk to you in coming days. Thanks. Bye, everybody. Good night.
All right. Good night. And on that note, guys, we're gonna get out of here. But we appreciate Rick. I'm having technical difficulties. But yeah, Rick's a gentleman and a great guy for the sport of boxing. And we'll be live tomorrow with Joshua Franco. So be on the lookout for that and all the interviews coming out here on True School Sports. And I'm gonna get out of here. So like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just Kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.